Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for the day after recap. So sometimes I do actually like to do not only the post-game recap right after the game, but also day after recaps if I feel like something significant happened during the game or if I want to discuss some things that I saw on film, something that the coaching staff and some of the players are talking about, or some significant topics that are going around. And it being week one, and it being the awful performance that we saw from Ryan Tannehill, the narratives are already starting to begin. So why not here for a post-game Monday further discussion on yesterday's week one loss versus the Saints. And we're going to focus on the Tannehill issue mostly, but we'll get to some of the quotables that came out from the game. Luckily, no injury news really to discuss. I mean, there's like some dings here and there, but nothing really to discuss on that front, so we'll keep it there. So I discussed part of this briefly yesterday. Well, maybe not even that briefly, but I just want to expound more on what I mean and what my beliefs are as it pertains to this matter. Now, this is not news. I mean, there's literally no way that Ryan Tannehill is not the starting quarterback for the Titans this coming week. And you never really know on Titans Twitter how serious people are being, but I think some people are actually being serious and saying, no, bench him now. What's the point? Well, it's a little too late for that. As I said, when we went into this offseason, look, I didn't want him here anyway. So you're speaking to the choir, right? But the choir was here in December. That's when the choir was here. We were here in December. We were here in January. We were here in February, we were here in March, and we were here in April. The choir was here. I was here screaming, saying it's time to move on, saying there's going to be an opportunity to move up for Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I made that first video discussing that in last year's December, when people still thought, oh, well, we still might win the division. And I said, should we go ahead and try to position ourselves to draft one of those two? I was talking about this last December, okay? But what did we do? We didn't trade up for either one of those. But now apparently we tried to trade up for C.J. Stroud. Didn't work out. And we took Will Levis. Still not in love with that. But we took Will Levis with the second pick, I guess, in the second round, the top of the second round. That's what we did. And when we did that, I had to, and we just went along and said, okay, so this is what we're doing. We're saying that Ryan Tannehill gives us the best chance to win. We're keeping Derrick Henry. We're keeping Kevin Byard. We're extending Jeffrey Simmons. We're retooling this roster, and we're going to try to make the playoffs again. That was the plan. Okay? Whether you agree with the plan, whether you like the plan, whether it would have been your plan, it's the plan. You can't go away from that plan after week one. It's ludicrous. It's preposterous. Not after week one. The plan, it's just one game. Now, it was an awful, awful, awful game. It was his worst game. Without it, to me, I mean, the Cincinnati game was a bigger stage. It was the worst game. It was the worst performance. Even at least in that game, I think he had over a 60% completion percentage, and he had a touchdown. It was just the 3 interceptions that were so bad. This game, under 50%, missed touchdowns, and the interceptions. It's his worst performance. So it's not close, actually. That game, you can give him a D. This one's an F. It's awful. It's going to be one of the worst performances you'll see all year. And I'm not kidding. It's going to be one of the worst performances you see all year. So you can't abandon it after 1 week. I don't even think you can abandon it after 2. If he plays this poorly again, and I don't think it's going to be 3 interceptions, but let's say it's 2. And let's say, again, he's still having some jitters and whatnot. And we lose the game. In game 3, okay, if the game is continuing to go that way, and this would be us in a hostile environment, it's kind of hostile, in Cleveland, in the middle of the game, I think you can do it. I think you can do it. Because what's going to happen is, I think people are so ready to be upset. If our offense struggles next week And by the way, look, I'm going to go into a preview of this game and whatnot. It is not a good thing that the Chargers lost last week because, oh, great, now we're both 0-1. Who's more desperate to not go 0-2? And the Chargers are a good traveling team because they travel all the time. They travel when they're at home because, they face opposing offenses at home. So if the offense continues to struggle, the Boo Birds are going to start flying and flying high. They're going to be loud. I don't know about how loud, but they're going to be coming down in Nissan Stadium. They're going to start coming down in Nissan Stadium as early as next week. I'm not kidding, guys. Remember, we're on an 8-game losing streak. I know it seems like 1, and for this season, it is 1. It's 8. We lost 7 straight to finish last season. People have been paying to go to games to watch us lose for the last 8 games. And I don't know how many home games that is. Let's say 4. Let's say maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5. But people have been paying their hard-earned money to watch us lose. In fact, I think the last home game we won is the one I went to. So thank God. I guess I need to go to more games. Maybe I'm a good luck charm. And that should have been the Broncos one. Since then, we haven't won at home. So the Boo Birds are going to start flying. And you see, I'm still not buying that outside of Titans Twitter, people are that much in love with Withers or Levis. But I am buying that people are over Tannehill. I think people are over it. And this was the problem with this. And hell, look, I'm not even going to back off my prediction yet, although I want to. No, I won't do it yet. Of 9-8. No, I mean, I'm not going to back it off because I had 9-8 missing the playoffs. Now, I think if a couple teams get injured, we might make the playoffs. I think if the Jaguars disappoint a little more than I'm anticipating, we might win the AFC South. That was my opinion. And my opinion of this team has not changed. Now, some people went overboard and they said 10 wins. They said winning the AFC South. And look, if you want to be a fan and you're being a fan, that's great. They started talking trash about the Jaguars and how the Jaguars are frauds. And obviously, we're going to win the division. Of course, we're going to win the division over the Jaguars. Okay, guys, we'll see about that one, Haas. I mean, look, if you want to say it'll be close and we'll win, that's a fine opinion. If you want to say that there's no way that the Jaguars are going to win the division over us, that we're so better than the Jaguars, well, you're just in delusion land, my boy. And I hope you get out of there. I hope you find your way out. If that boy Trevor Lawrence is healthy, if that boy Calvin Ridley is healthy in Jacksonville, yeah, they're going to compete for the division. So I'm sorry, that's the way it works. So anyway, so if you were one of the rational ones, I mean, look, we lost by 1 point. We should have won the game. People are also saying that people are saying you can't put too much stock into week 1 about how your team is. Sure. I think that was our team yesterday. The only thing that was shocking was Tannehill. Henry was still good. Hopkins was what I expected Hopkins to be. Is he's not going to blast you away with his speed. He's not running away from anybody in a go route, but he can get some contested catches. He's going to struggle getting off of the line. He's going to be a 900-yard wide receiver, 1,000 if you really force him. That's what he is at this point in this stage in his career. When we signed him, people thought he was a savior. He's no savior. He's too old at this point. He's too slow at this point. He's not a savior. He's a weapon that we needed because we didn't draft any damn weapons, because we didn't sign any damn weapons in March. And I'm not saying that we should have, except for maybe JSN, but even JSN didn't do anything yesterday. So I'm not even going that far. And then maybe Mingo, if Mingo catches on or something like that. So I'm not even going that far to say that we should have signed D-Hop, but this is what D-Hop is. This is who he is. And I'd much rather would prefer, for me to see at this point, someone like a Treylon Burks, who I look at the tape yesterday was getting open quite frequently, getting more opportunities than D-Hop, because one of them, maybe not more, but at least closer, because one of them is very important to our future and one of them is not. So when people wanted to sign D-Hop just to win the AFC South, because I think everyone, even if you were delusional, you agreed that this is a move in order for Tannehill and running Tannehill and Henry and all these guys again is a move to win the AFC South. But that we're not going to beat the Bengals, or the Bengals are struggling right now. We're not going to beat the Chiefs. We're not going to beat the Ravens. We're not going to beat the top teams in the AFC. This is just a move for us to win the AFC South and be a 1 and done, maybe a 2 and done. That was the move. Still the move, even after one game. We lost by a point. We should have won the game. So people are saying week one is a lie. You can't believe week one. Why not? That was the Titans that I saw yesterday. That was literally the Titans. Henry ran well. Offensive line was mid. Wide receivers were okay. Tight ends, they're not consistent yet. A defensive line was great. Linebackers played decent. Gibbons played well. Byard played well. Fulton struggled. That's the Titans. What is the lie about that? What is misleading about that? The only thing that was misleading was Tannehill's performance. That's it. Outside of that, that was the Titans. I think we were one of the few teams that played the way I expect for us to play. We should have won the game. I mean, like, the lie would be if we should have lost the game. Like, that would have been the lie. If we would have showed up. Let me tell you a perfect example. The one game in the Titans history that I can think of recently where week one was not indicative of us was 2021 when we lost 13 to the Cardinals. Okay, now that was a fraudulent performance. While the Cardinals were good that year, we ended up having a better regular season record. And yeah, the Cardinals were not that much better than us. Yeah, that was a fraud. We lost by a point and we should have won the game yesterday. That's not a fraud. That's literally what should have happened. I had us winning by a touchdown. If we get the 10-point swing, we do win by a touchdown. Seems like what should have happened to me. Everything that should have happened yesterday happened, except Tannehill missing these open wide receivers and throwing these interceptions. You remove that, it's exactly what I expected from this team. Oh, and we should have ran more, and that's just a coaching decision. I don't know what the hell happened there. That was the Titans yesterday. That's the Titans. That's who we are. This season, this is who we are. Maybe we make the playoffs, maybe we don't. That's who we are. Middling team. Against the Saints, we're going to struggle on the road. We should have won the game. We should have won the game. So if we would have lost by like 30 points or 20 points, then I'd say, okay, maybe it's we lost by a point, we should have won the game. So I don't know why. I mean, I think people are just having week one trauma. I get it's week one. People want to overreact. But as of this moment, yes, Tannehill is still the best quarterback on this roster. Like I said, in the middle of game 3, if he's still playing this poorly, then yeah, go ahead and pull him and get your tanks out. Willie, she got one shot. Willie, she got like 3 shots. Okay, this is what you do. Hey, Tannehill got 3. Willis gets 3. If Willis can't do well in 3, you pull him. You put Levis in. He gets 3. When Levis can't do it, put back in Tannehill for 3. Willis for 3. I mean, just okay. Don't put Tannehill back in. If he gets benched, then he's done. You know, don't put it back in. And then you want to do Willis Levis, and just give him 3-game stints or something. Don't just pull him in one game, an hour, one game. Don't do that. But then go back and forth. But yeah, give Tannehill 3 weeks. You have to give him at least 3 weeks. And then if we're looking at 0-3, and even then, 0-3, the season isn't over. It's not, but like for me, it's like, I mean, really? I mean, should we go 9 and at that point it'd be 9-5? To try to maybe make the playoffs, or should we just go ahead and see what we have in these 2 guys and be like, let's figure it out for 2024? And yeah, that's the move. And I know the defense wouldn't love it, or at least I believe that. But if Tannehill's really playing that poorly, I think they'd understand it. I think everyone would understand it. But I think we would know as fans that this is kind of a pulling the plug to a certain extent. And then, hey, maybe I'm underestimating Malik Willis and he plays great. And this is my thing. And look, because I'm already, and now we're projecting that Tannehill's going to struggle. And again, I don't know if that's the correct projection. But let's just keep going down this road. If that happens, for me to commit to either Willis or Levis, I need to see at least a 1.4 touchdown to interception ratio and a pass rating of at least, like, I know this is high for a rookie, or like, well, Levis would be a rookie, Willis would be in his second year. I'd have to see 90. Otherwise, I'm looking at quarterbacks in the first round next year. That's what I need, because that's how desperate I am as a fan right now. That way we can finally get this quarterback situation figured out, and I don't have to get going through this rigmarole that we've been going through since Stephen freaking McNair. And yes, I believed in my boy Mariota. Locker was always I was never on the Mettenberger train. Shame on you if you were caught. Oh my God. I can't keep doing it, guys. I can't keep. Oh, and Vince Young. Vince Young, I was on Vince Young. Yeah, I was on Vince Young. I can't keep doing it. I can't. And the move is to move on. Hey, the 49ers, they moved on from Trey Lance and they traded up picks for him to take him number 3rd overall. And they traded him for 4th. So I don't want to hear that we have to give Levis time if he doesn't play well, or we have to give, damn all that. If you're sitting in the 1st round next year and you're in a position to get Caleb or May, and I'm still mixed on May, or Shador, or Ewers, or Michael Penix Jr., who, by the way, continues to look great. Yeah, as of right now, I think they're all better. As of right now. But give him a shot to play. Give him a shot to play. So that's what I want to continue to say. Also, so some things that I wanted to note, just looking over the tape, looking at grades. So Skaronsi, when I actually looked at the tape, he played better than I thought. Dillard did not. So Dillard, definitely the struggling position right now at left tackle. He needs to be better quickly. We also saw the tight ends did not perform well in Chig, Wesco, or Wiley. We're getting no good blocking there, let alone receiving. Defensively, yeah, Jack Gibbons played great. Autry played great. Key, which was no surprise to anybody. I was surprised to see the Sean Murphy bunting. I thought he was graded a little too low, but he did struggle a little bit. So I want to see Sean Murphy bunting be a little bit better there. And that was about it. And by the way, the official snap count, because I mentioned it, Harold Landry, we ended up actually playing 57 snaps yesterday. He was just a little quiet. But, he's still getting his legs under him, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him yet. And we already know about Jeffrey Simmons, Big Jeff Simmons, Amani Hooker. They both played well as well. We had a super chat, so I'll get to the super chat and then, or any other super chats that come in, and then we'll get out of here. So, again, I don't want us to overreact. The thing that just is the big poo-poo for me is the schedule. I think Tannehill's going to be better. I don't want to play the Chargers next week coming off of a loss. I think if they would have won this week, great. They can sleep a little bit, but now they don't want to start 0-2. Brandon Staley, he's on the edge of losing his job. He's on the edge. He's on the edge of losing his job. So I didn't want to face Brandon Staley. Looks like we're going to have to. So, this desperate Herbert, who did not even play that well. It's just a run game that played really well for the Chargers in last week's game in LA against the Dolphins. So, Herbert should be in line for a better game, I know he has a young wide receiver that he's trying to pull along there, but yeah, we will see. All right, so let's get to the comments. This not update. Let's see. Apparently not. Let's bring that back up and down then. All right, that should be up now. Okay, so we had a super chat earlier. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that. Yeah, so this came from St. Louis Titans. Says we should be all right. It's only the first game. And yes, again, I agree. And the defense looked great. Like, I saw everything when you see. The only thing was Tannehill. Like, that's the only thing that really was surprising. Everything else made sense. Everything made sense. If you want to question some of Vrabel's decision making, that's another thing. He's still defending his decision to punt take the field goal instead of going on 4th and 6. I would have went for it on 4th and 6 because you can still get the 3 and out. You have to get a touchdown, but dude, you got to get a touchdown eventually. You can't expect to win a game with 6 freaking field goals and no touchdowns. This is the NFL. The games aren't won like that anymore. I'd have to see the last game a team won by just taking field goals. I'd have to see it outside of, I think the Bills lost against the Jags like a couple years ago, like 6-0 in like a really weird game. But it doesn't happen. In this situation, I think you got to go for the touchdown. But, Vrabel's always going to defend his moves. And yeah, Square actually brings up a good point. So how much longer till Vrabel's on the hot seat? And again, so when we're talking about the schedule, so again, I don't love facing the Chargers this week, guys. I really, really, really don't. We should have just won last week. And then we go to Cleveland. And then we host Cincinnati. Yeah, and if Cincinnati wakes up, I don't know what's going on with Burrow's calf. I think it's bothering him more than he's indicating. I think him missing that period of camp mattered. I think, it could be 0-4. I'm not going to say that. I'll say 1-3. I just don't know if it's going to be with a win in desperation against Cleveland or Cincinnati. I don't know if we're going to win this week, guys. I mean, I don't want to give a Matt Brown prediction, but it should be 1-3. It could be 0-4. It could be 0-4, and at that point, you got to start thinking about your franchise. The thing about Vrabel has still, it's only 2 years ago that he was coach of the year. He was coach of the year in 2021. Okay, 2021, he was coach of the year. So is he going to be fired in 2023? I doubt it. Even if this ends up being a year where we play Willis and Levis and try to figure it out, and I think I don't know how well those guys are going to play. Let's say it's a 3 or 4 win team. I don't know if it's that bad yet. I don't think so. Let's just say it is. I think he'd have another year. I do. I don't think he'd be fired. But the bad thing, and it's a bad look, if we start 0-4, that's now 11 straight losses that he's had here. Oh, that's bad. And you can talk about the injuries, but we're healthy right now. So, and would I fire him? No. But I also wouldn't have taken Will Levis either, and that was on the GM. I think this is all on the quarterback. But both of them were involved in that. Going into this year, if Tannehill continues to stink, y'all should have figured out this quarterback situation years ago, and you didn't. So eventually it's going to catch up to you. So you could ride Tannehill only for so long, okay? And we all knew that, okay? The writing was on the wall. Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that. So that can go into consideration. But if you go fire him, you better already have someone lined up. If you're just going to fire him and then just start talking to people that you don't even know, I'd rather just stick with him because I don't know what Kellen Moore is going to come in here and do. I don't know who are some other top candidates right now. Kellen Moore, if he continues, he's going to be finally a head coach. I think he already probably should have been one by now. I don't know if Dan Quinn's going to get another shot. Probably. Yeah, I wouldn't love Dan Quinn over Mike Vrabel, but I'd stay with Vrabel at that point. Let's see who else is probably going to be a head coach. Those are we'll discuss that more if we go down that road. Those are the two names that get up to the top of my head. But I think Vrabel's safe. I think that coach of the year, the 12-5, the AFC championship performance, I think that all does well for him. But if this continues to next year, okay, he's gone. In the middle of next year, he'd be gone. But I still think he'll get through at least this season. So there you go. This is my Monday recap for the Tennessee Titans game yesterday. What are your thoughts on the current status of this team after week 1? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.